All right, boy, to get started. 8:11 p.m. in the city. Greetings to one and all. It's been a long time since I've gone live on the podcast, like live on Facebook and all these different things. So, nevertheless, man, greetings and welcome. Yours truly, AlonzoBash. Welcome to AlonzoBash podcast, and of course, today's actually a special day, man. Recap Baltimore Carnival or Baltimore One Love Carnival 2026. The podcast actually started 2 years ago, right after the Baltimore Carnival. I would say experience back in when was that 2026, what 2024 sometime around. But nevertheless, it's an open forum. I actually have two of my guests actually in there. Let me bring them up one time. Let me see. Boom, boom, boom. We got Mr. Kong. Evening, sir. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I just qualities, and I also have Small as well. Let me bring him up here. Boom, boom, boom. Mr. Small, good day, sir.
How are you, brother? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Thank good. I was just doing the formality before the game.
Absolutely.
Yes. Who baby?
That's mine.
You want to say hi?
I know it is. It's so good, man. But what gentlemen, welcome to AlonzoBash podcast. I'm your host, AlonzoBash. Of course, today we're doing the 2026 recap of Baltimore Washington One Carnival. And we're going to start with you guys. Like I mentioned, it's an open forum, so be prepared to answer, questions from the general public. And I wanted to start with you guys. Of course, I'll give you guys the opportunity to introduce yourself. So, Mr. Kang, for guys, so folks who don't know who you are, I'm going to give you the platform to tell folks who you
are. How's everybody doing? My name is Anwar Kong. I'm the founder of a marketing events company called Join the Movement. Between DC and Baltimore, we do a ton of events. Myself, born and raised in Jamaica, moved to the DMV when I was a teenager. Been here ever since. Went to Morgan State University and up in Baltimore, and that's Baltimore's second home to me. So I call DC home, my home base right now, but Baltimore is definitely second home right now. And that's it for sure.
That makes a lot of sense, a lot of sense. So I'm gonna help you as well. So folks who may not know, you are one of the people, I'm sure you have a team as well, that brought voice to Baltimore Carnival Friday night.
Yeah. So, so I've been going to Jamaica Carnival for about 12 years straight, right? COVID, we missed a couple years here and there, but it's been 12 years I've been going. I saw Voice at Sun Nation Breakfast Party in April. And I said, you know what? I have to bring him to Baltimore. I have to bring him to this area. He's been here. He's been here for sure. But I think, when Can't Behave is just such a big song. Like it's an incredible record. And I was like, all right, we have to do this. So, one thing led to another, got in touch with his people, and, we made it happen. And that's probably, out of all the events I've done, I'm still thinking about it. I'm still reliving it every day. Like in the last couple of days. It was really incredible.
Yeah, it was a nice event, man. I mean, I was there. Of course, we met officially. People keep telling me, we met before, but to bring work. It was an excellent event. Well attended. The venue was excellent. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. Also want to take this opportunity as well to introduce to the panel. No stranger, of course, to Baltimore, Mr. Reynolds Smalls, better known as DJ Smalley. And he's here on a official capacity as the Director of Marketing and Promotion for the One Love Baltimore Carnival. So, Mr. Smalley, I know I said I was going to let you introduce yourself, but I couldn't help myself. So I'm going to let you
No, well, you did a good job. So, I simply have to say, wear many hats. Of course, big ups to Mr. Kong. Unfortunately, I missed the event. I'm a DJ myself, so I had other events. And then being part of the carnival. But you know, it's very disheartening sometimes to miss a voice concert. You know, but I made the sacrifice on that one. So you know, the capacity, as you said, Alonzo, that I'm under today is as the director of marketing and promotion for the Baltimore Washington One Carnival. You know, I've been a part of the carnival and the association for a number of years now. But about a year ago, I decided to get really seriously in terms of moving the carnival. And when I say moving, that could encompass anything that you might think of it. But the biggest part for me was the gap that I saw in marketing. And so to move the needle and show the results in terms of turnout, and of course, when you have things like the social media pages in terms of having followers, viewership, that type of stuff. And then again, making the carnival something that is more relevant to the younger population, the non-Caribbean population. I undertook those things as my task for those 2 years. And, you know, I feel like I've done, my team and I, and still growing team, have done a good job so far, and really looking forward to doing more and more in that capacity.
All right. Well, you guys did a great job this year. I mean, you know, of course, tonight, like I first mentioned, it's an open forum, so we will open up the floor, so to speak. But look at it as a community. What do you call it? A community. What am I looking for? When they have these community gatherings, you guys
a forum,
a town hall.
Town hall, town hall, a community town hall, yeah.
The town hall, because you know, let's be honest, man. People have all these comments, you know, and rightfully so. You know, like I mentioned, you know, the opportunity to voice your opinions, you know, your recommendations, of course, respectfully. And yeah, that's why we're here. So I'm gonna swing back to Mr. Kong, and I have a couple of questions for you. First, I'm gonna start with your Jamaican heritage. Now, soca is usually, you know, not when you're in Jamaica, you know, reggae is usually, dancehall is usually the forefront. Where your passion for soca came from?
So it's kind of a long story. So in Jamaica, the calypso parties, I mean, Byron Lee and all that, you know, legendary. But the calypso parties was more like an uptown Jamaican thing. And inside the bank workers. So my aunties used to work in a bank. And they used to have these bank parties, and it was mostly a calypso party. So that kind of spilled over into, you know, my family and my mother, and like introducing me to calypso. And then that kind of grew my love for it. And I mean, soca is just an incredible music. And then once I started going to carnival as an adult in Jamaica, like the level of love and appreciation for it just kind of take off. So I joke with my Trini friends all the time. If I wasn't Jamaican, I'd be Trini, right? So you know, it's one or two. You know, those are the only two options. So that's where it comes from.
All right. So join the movement. Why that name? Like, how that name came about, and you know, what does it mean? The significance of that title.
You know, so join the movement came when I was working. The name came from when I was working for Martell and like a big liquor brand. I was working for a big liquor brand, and just you know, I was going into rooms and we weren't really represented a lot in a lot of rooms, especially in management. So I wanted to kind of create a brand that was just like, okay, we're moving forward. It's like moving, and then, you know, join the movement. Then somebody was like, hey, maybe you should drop the vowels. So we kind of went that way. And you know, that's like the history of it. So it kind of first started out as an app. So about in 2018, I got attacked in DC and I had to have brain surgery. And while I was in the hospital, every time, like, I, you know, in and out of the hospital. Whenever I was in the hospital, I would tell my mom to bring me my laptop. And while I was in the hospital, I was working on the app itself. So it just kept my brain working. So I always say, like, it kind of saved me in a way, because like it kept my brain working and just always being creative. How do I build this app? How do I build this app? How do I build this app? So it started out as an app. After COVID, we went into events a lot, and more like a website based. So
okay, Fair enough. Yeah, sorry to hear about your incident that took place. So Baltimore Carnival, I'm gonna pick your brain. When the idea came up that or you saw the opportunity, I will take it that way. You saw the opportunity like, hey, Baltimore Carnival, you want to be in that space. What was that process like for you?
I think for me, everywhere I go, I want to add value, right? And for me, I saw a gap. So whenever I go to carnival, wherever, there's always like these staple events, and people go for the carnival.
Yeah.
However, the events are kind of like what's in your group chat. Hey,
Yep.
are we going to this event? Are we going to that event? Are we going to this event? And I feel like for me, I was seeing events, but for me, really wasn't seeing events at like the premier venues around town, if you will. And for me, I thought Power Plant, to me, I went to Morgan. Power Plant has always been like the epicenter of like entertainment in Baltimore, downtown Baltimore. Like it's such a large venue. It was downtown, so because I do so many other events in the other genres, R&B, hip hop. I've built relationships, so it gives me the ability to take our culture, take my culture into spaces that normally it doesn't get. The barrier of entry isn't as high for me to get these style of events in some of these venues, just because they trust me from wherever from the other events. So when I thought about it, I said, hey, Power Plant, there's no greater place to have a soca party to kick off Baltimore Carnival than at Power Plant. You have 6 other venues inside. You could put DJs in every venue. You could have the big alley, what they call it. You could do 4,000 or 5,000 people at the Power Plant. And there's no greater place. So I had actually booked that date before I even saw Voice. Like that date was booked back in like January. Like the date was back in January, and I was like, all right, well, I had been talking to some other carnival promoters, some Baltimore Carnival, some promoters in Baltimore, in the DMV, like last fall, and I was like, I want to do this, but I don't think they think I could do. Maybe they thought I couldn't do it or wasn't going to do it. But like
we could be transparent. What was the reaction like? It's impossible. Power Plant.
It's not even impossible. It's just more like just kind of like silence, if you will. You know what I mean? It's sometimes it can be weird. Sometimes it could seem like I'm an outsider coming in a way, because like
Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
No one knew who most people in the general public wasn't sure exactly who is this group, this organization. All they knew was the party was going to be downtown, and that's it. Because I'm telling you, trust me, I did my research. I couldn't figure it out by
that. So like and that's the thing. So like we've only done one Caribbean event in Baltimore. That we do the bullpen in DC. We do thousands of people in DC all the time, right? We just did Taste the Islands in DC maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we had Lyrical and Charlie Black, and that was like 2,500 people, right? So, but coming into Baltimore to do this event, obviously the general population don't really know the brand. They don't know me out of anywhere. So, people saw Voice and they're like, "Oh, we're going to see Voice." But if people came and saw Voice and they didn't have a good time, then it's on me, because like I didn't put on a good event, right? So we made sure we put on a great event. And when Voice left, people didn't leave. And that, like, to me that was kind of like the nervous point, because I was like, all right, when Voice gets on at 12:30, 12:45, he's going to do his 30 minutes. After those 30 minutes, everyone is going to leave, and that's the question. But when he left, people stayed. At 2:00, we had to ask people to leave the building. And that says a great thing about the events. But like I said, I've been going to Jamaica for a long time, going to carnival events for a long time, going to soca events for a long time, and really learning, taking notes. How do you do this? How do you set your DJs up? What DJs go here? How do But I consider I'm an event professional full time. This is my full time job. So like I am going to bring the most professionalism to the table, and I'm going to add value. To me, with Baltimore Carnival, I just want to add value, and that's it. I want to add value. I think when I speak to other bands or mass bands across the Caribbean, people don't really look at the DMV area as like a powerhouse for Caribbean culture for whatever reason. And it's just like this space where we have a ton of Caribbean people here, and we're proud. But I think sometimes with Caribbean people, we assimilate too well. Yeah. And because we assimilate so well, people don't think there's a big powerhouse of us here, but there really is. So, my mission is really to kind of help add value. Can we make this a big Caribbean powerhouse market? Because like at the end of the day, for this carnival to grow, we need people to be here. Yeah. And for the city of Baltimore to invest more money into it, the hotel rooms have to be packed. And if the way to get the hotel rooms packed in Baltimore during carnivals and sold out is to have people from New York driving down, people from Miami coming up, people from Atlanta coming up, to have a ton of people just coming in for it. And a lot of times the promoters and the events around the carnival could help build a hype to get people here. Then they can experience the carnival. So that, it's an outside-in approach. And I like events that are outside, that are kind of outside. Yeah.
All right. We'll take a pause here for a minute and I'll swing over to Reynolds Smalls, once again, the marketing and promotion, director of marketing and promotion for the Baltimore One Love Carnival. I know you was busy for the last couple of days. So let's start with what's your general outlook of the carnival? Let's start with that for 2026.
In terms of reach, in terms of response, I think it almost felt like night and day. I know one of the biggest things was partnering with the city on this go around to have it almost fully produced by the city. One of the things that they still gave us autonomy. So we were able to still have and will continue to still have a say in who talent is, what the look of the parade is, the route, that type of thing. But in terms of coverage in the spaces around the park, managing things like vendors, they're helping us with that. But what I saw was probably a 60% increase in terms of interaction. You saw people posting about how excited they were for the carnival, what events they're going to go to leading up to the carnival. Yeah. They can't wait to be a part of the parade. And having the park free allowed us to have, on average, I think we probably had about 3,000 people over the 2-day period, Saturday and Sunday, in the park. That's a first. That's a first ever. Yeah. And when people talk about, why did we charge a cover for the park? Up until 2025, and I think you may be aware of this last year, we have never received funding from anyone. So when a promoter came in from out of town and did a big event, and we hemmed and hawed about it, it was for that reason. Yeah. The association had to fund every single thing. And so when you have a police bill that is $75,000 and you have 1,000 people in the park over 2 days, because there are other events that the big promoters are having, and there's no consideration at all for the carnival committee. Nobody asks us, we're taking the name Carnival and doing an event. How can we help you? Can you send us your flyer so that we can say, here's the countdown to the parade. We'll do this on Friday in collaboration, even if there's no financial involvement. And so for a long time, up until you could say the city rescued us, able to ask, how are we going to fund this? How are we going to take care of this? How are we going to do this when join the movement? And I'm just using this as an example. Obviously, I've heard your background and what you're doing and where you came from. But when we hear Join the Movement is doing voice on the same night that we may have an event, and then we have to fund it, obviously, yes, you want people to come in, you want it to be quality. I'm all for that because I'm a DJ and I know, and I've traveled all over the world doing carnivals. But again, up until we were, I should use the word, and I'm not using it loosely to say, rescued, we didn't have the type of impact that we had this year and a little bit last year. And so I'm hoping that as we continue to partner with the city, that we can have those same partnerships with the promoters. That a promoter can say, hey, we have X artists coming in and they'll be coming in. Yes, you may not be able to use them before, but how can we help you where if Voice comes in on Friday night,
right,
you don't advertise that Voice is going to be on the park. You can't do it, but we could have Voice as a surprise guest that shows up early Saturday morning, and instead of paying Voice $50,000 because he's working with us, you help us with the plane ticket and you pay X amount of dollars. For that, that's what I see as a partnership. Because if a promoter is saying, we're doing this for Carnival, suppose there's no Carnival. Suppose we can't fund the Carnival anymore. And the city says, hey, we don't have the money. I promise you, none of the promoters are coming to say, what do you need? Let's take care of the bill, right? So what I did see this year is an expansion in terms of the quality of events. Kudos to Join the Movement. A lot of people came into town because of Voice, and they stayed for the parade on Saturday. And then when they found out that Anika Berry was going to be on the park on Saturday for free, and they found out Destra's going to be on the park on Sunday free of charge, they stayed for the weekend, right?
Yes.
But I would still love to see more of a collaboration where we can work hand in hand with some of the promoters to be able to make this something that is more of a oneness, and it doesn't feel like the carnival is competing against the same people who need the carnival, And so hopefully that gives you not just direct answer to your question, but to some of the ideas that we think can help all of us move forward to that next level, to keep building the carnival.
Yeah, I mean, well said, man. I mean, that makes a whole lot of sense. A whole lot of sense. You would say, but I would say it. I think one of the issues I see is the fact that the carnival committee will bring an artist for the park, and then you'll see the same art. I'm not blaming the artists because I mean, at the end of the day, they're working.
I know exactly where you're going. Where they see the artists again.
Yeah, and then you have the same artists on the road. It's not really. But once again, like you said, if you're doing it for the carnival, it's kind of taken away from the general impact of the whole product.
And there's no conversation, right? And that's all I ask, in my capacity. I'm glad that I met Anwar, because I promise you, Anwar and I are gonna have a lot of conversations, and they're mainly gonna be around not just the carnival, but what happens a month before the carnival, what happens in May, what can happen in May. Can there be a partnership where we start doing things, where if you already have these access to these spaces and people are looking at Carnival as a 3-day event, why can't Carnival be a 2-month event? Why can't we still having preliminaries for whatever, whether it's a pageant, which is something that I'm already started putting in the works, a calypso competition, Calypso is one of the things that is not present in Carnival right now in Baltimore. And I'm not talking about soca, as you know. We're talking about calypso music, right?
Yeah.
I would love to see, but because we have been fighting the fight for so long, unfunded, we can't get into those spaces. You walk up to a certain space and the kind of money they want, we're holding on to that money to be able to have a bar for the weekend, right?
Yeah.
So that's the kind of conversations that I would love. And I feel like if, like you talk about the truck, right? You have these bands and they have 350 people on the road at $1,500 a pop for a costume. They know the artist is going to be in the park on Saturday night, but they're going to pay the artist to sing on the truck Saturday during the day, knowing that it's the same carnival as bringing you that $20,000-$30,000, you know, at your 350 masqueraders. It's the same carnival that you're encouraging this artist to take the money to come on the truck to sing, and the person doesn't show up later on because they know, hey, we saw the artist on the road already.
Right.
So those are some of the challenges we had before the city came in and said, hey, how can we work with you? You know, Brandon came to us. He said, how can I help you? Because he stopped funding some of the other programs, the other events that they were having. And Carnival, thankfully, has always been near and dear to him. I would love to see some of the promoters and the band leaders come to us and say, hey, Carnival is near and dear to me. How can I help you elevate your 2 days or your 3 days or what have you? Those are the kind of conversations that I think we should be having, because nobody really knows except us how long again the carnival may have, right? None of the promoters know. The band leaders clearly don't know, and they don't care until it happens. It's gone, right? So
it's a collective effort, you know, and I think I will keep saying that I'm here to add value, because I see this is important. This is important to me. It's important for our culture. It's important for everything. You know, and like when I decided to do this, I was like, well, I don't know anyone who is directly affiliated with the Baltimore Carnival itself, the organization. But, you know, I mean, I guess I could have because like the mayor's office, I'm friendly with the mayor's office. But I kind of want to show and prove. And sometimes you just need to show and prove. And then, okay, cool. You show and prove. All right, here we go. I want to be involved. How can I help? How can I be of assistance? You know, so.
Yeah. And thanks for saying that. And I think when I looked up Join the Movement and I got some of the insight around it, I quickly realized that it was, yes, obviously it makes sense because you definitely want to do an event that you make money. But I felt like exactly what you said today in terms of how you're connected to soca music, the fact that you're not from what we would call a soca island or soca country. It tells me that there is a honest passion for it, right? I have another major promoter that called me to do an event on one of the nights that we had the festival, and I took it only because of what I just mentioned to you. I took that job being the person who is managing most of the things in the carnival now. I took it for the opportunity to get into certain spaces because they're a powerhouse in the city. Along the way, the conversations just didn't seem the same to me. They didn't flesh out. I'm old enough and I've traveled enough and I've done enough events and been around enough people to know. Plus, I was in corporate America for a really long time, hiring and firing, so I can tell body language and conversations and stuff. And I only say this to say that some people come in legitimately to be part of it, and some people come in to see what they can get, and they roll on to the next thing. And we're hoping that we can see more of the collaborations that are truly genuine and really see the true value of what, like you said, the DMV is still a fledgling as when you look at events and powerhouse events and representation. We go and we fill up Miami and we fill up Canada and we go to all these spaces, Notting Hill, DMV. I travel and I feel like I am in the DMV when I'm in another country. That's the amount of people or my friends that I see. But we need to do it for ourselves. So kudos to you for doing, for taking this step.
All right, guys. I have a couple of comments from some folks on YouTube. I had to look over there quickly. Shout out to Kizzy. Shout out to I think to Shauna. She did mention the a comment. What I want to shout out the Eclipse band, Nyla Blackman and Skinny Fabulous for their performances on Soak on the Pier. That was a Saturday night. The performance as if 6 was packed. Sadly, didn't think so. I guess we'll say that. And I guess to go back to what you were saying that it wasn't well attended. Let's put it that way, and that goes back to the conversation that we had. I mean, if it's something that if these promoters it seemed like they were doing something separate or kind of piggybacking off the Carnival brand. Let's put it that way. That's my opinion.
Yeah. You know, it was the last minute too. I think I started promoting Voice back in May. I think we had about almost 8 weeks of promo. And I think I saw the Skinny Fabulous and Nyla Blackman. That was like Wednesday. It was like Tuesday or Wednesday when I saw it, and I said, "Wow, okay, this is last minute." But in business, I'm just like, well, maybe they could figure out a way for it to make sense for them because maybe they get they are a part of Pier 6. They are partners, managing partners. So like, think, okay, maybe they're going to try to get the bar. They're going to try to make it make sense for them. So, I mean, every promoter kind of has their own way of trying to figure out how to make it work for them. So,
yeah. Shout out to Sheldon Mendoza as well. Another comment is it would be nice to see the steel pan grow with the young people. We need our own panorama. So she mentioned young people, and of course, this is a big discussion that's been taking place prior to the carnival. I guess after Ephraim, there was a lot of comments or people had their opinions about it being free and the young people, coming to the carnival and so forth. And of course, this year, I think was the first time I've seen so many young adults at the event. Now, I have my opinions, and I'm gonna cite it to Mr. Smalls to give his take on your opinion on the attendance of because it seemed like it was, especially Saturday. It seemed like, I don't want to exact, maybe 75% or maybe a little under, but over 50% for sure was young adults.
So I'll respond to that with a question, and the question would be, if they didn't show up, who would? Right? Because you would never ask that question. We would have never asked that question if the same number of adults who love the Caribbean and who love Carnival and who love the artists and who wanted to be in the park, if that same number, right, that was, let's say 10 people were complaining that they're seeing all these young, what they guess are American kids,
yes,
and they're worried about the problems. Could you imagine how many like them that were complaining stayed at home, right?
Yeah.
So if you're out there and you're representing and you could see all of your friends that look like you, that are the same age with you, and you're having fun, you're not even going to notice that they're young people that are learning about the culture, that are honestly coming up. In that area where we had the festival on Friday and on Saturday and Sunday, and even Friday, there was not one single fight that I saw. And my job was going to the bars. My job was making sure there was cash on the ground. My job was making sure that the artists and the security and everybody was on time and getting off the stage so I was literally end to end. I had to go check on vendors. I did everything. Yes. And there was not one single fight. There was at one point in time, there was something with tear gas, and that could have just been a one-off type thing. But I say this to say our culture and our music lends to happiness. It lends to celebration. So if you're sitting in a corner and saying there are too many kids and too many young adults and too many non-Caribbean kids, they could be third generation. They could have grandparents that are from the Caribbean. They could have grown up listening to, driving in the car, going to middle school and elementary school and hearing soca music playing. And now they're old enough to get into the park where there's alcohol. So they had to wait a number of years before they could come out. Do you know how excited those kids were to be there? So when I hear people saying those things, if we were to charge a cover, like last year we had a cover at the gate, and guess what? It was the same percentage in terms of how many young adults were there, right? It was just a lower number because they had to pay, but it was the same ratio. So guess what? They're willing to spend the money, no matter what they look like, no matter how they act. They weren't fighting, they weren't harming anyone. They were having genuine fun. So my response to that is, we were there once. I was that young adult that some older person, I was in a space dancing that somebody didn't want. I was there with my 10 friends, and some older person was saying there are too many kids. And then I grew up. And so there has to be more kids for the culture to continue. Yeah. So we need to kind of take the focus off of that. And when we see them doing things, we praise them. I spent at least 10 minutes both days just thanking the young people for not fighting, for having a good time, explaining to them what soca music is from the stage, in the intermission. Because now, even if they're not from the Caribbean, they've never heard soca music, I said, go home and tell your parents that you heard soca music today, and explain to them how it made you feel. I literally was saying that to them. And I think that's what we need to do in the spaces like AFROM. Get on the stage and talk to the youth. Explain to them what your parents taught you when you were growing up. We take time out to do all kinds of other things. Tell you where the bar is, tell you where the toilet is. Talk to the young people. If they're having a problem, call them out. Call them out in a friendly way, because most of us are parents, right? Yeah. So I embrace it. I'm happy to see it. And I think that the Baltimore City Police Department, they came out in full force, because they know what happened in AFROM. So if anything happened or was to happen, they would have been able to circumvent most of those things. I welcome it, because at the end of the day, if it was money and it's green and they're paying, that's all we wanted. We want to be able to count the money to pay the bills, you know? So I welcome it. I think it's a beautiful thing, and they're going to grow up some point in time and teach their kids about the culture.
Yeah. I'm going to come back to you. I have some other questions as well, but just joined the panel as well, Mr. Sean, the Island Oasis. Congratulations on the win. One of the band leaders. I want to give him an opportunity to talk. Sean, you on?
Yeah, good night.
Good night, sir. Good night.
You're breaking up a little bit, Sean.
Yeah, you're breaking up.
Yeah, breaking up. Check your Wi-Fi. Check your bars. It's something kind of staticky. All right, then. While you sort that out, yes. Can you hear us? It sounds like you're going through some challenges. Can you hear us? All right, we'll get it. All right, Kong, were you out there on Saturday as well? For the carnival itself, on the parade?
No, I had to make a deal with my wife. Friday I could be in Baltimore. The rest of the weekend I had to stay. Stay at home with the kid. But you know, my plan is moving forward. I really want to be a part of everything. I want to be there. I want to help. I want to help to grow it. I want more people there. And you know, that's what I'm here for. So I think Friday night is just going to be a staple moving forward. I think that's going to be. I think every year is just going to, you know, we're going to do big artists, and then you know, fit in where we can from there. So I think that's, you know, help out any way we can, and you know, continue to be a part of the whole weekend. I want to be a part of the whole weekend. So,
all right, looking forward to that. So we have some other comments. We have a lot of comments on YouTube. This had a comment from Sheldon. Says here, the young people need to be embraced and also educated about the culture in order to grow. In order for it to grow, it can't always be people who missing home and tending. We need the American kids. So I guess that kind of piggyback on what Smalley said early on. There's also another comment here. The promotion usually take 3 months. I think that was early on. We need to dive in from Kizzy. We need a deeper dive in our culture showcase. So I guess you're saying that I guess some of the state performances, you know, like you mentioned, like the calypso, maybe the folk dancing and so forth. Maybe that's something that the committee might want to look into. Let me see here another comment. Of course, guys, if you want to join in, I'll make sure I put the link in the comments. If you guys want to join the panel, and of course, you can put your questions up on Facebook as well for those of you guys on Facebook. So let me swing back. Sean, you there? I think Sean's still trying to sort out his internet. All right, Smorty, let me get back to you. You mentioned fighting. Now,
let's see Sean could hear. I'm very happy to hear from Sean today, man. Sean and his team did big things. I don't know why he lives right around the corner from me, why he's having Wi-Fi trouble.
What?
But you know what? How about this? Log out and restart your phone and log back in. Maybe that might help.
Right.
Yeah, maybe that might help. All right. So on Saturday, I went out to the parade, walked around, do my little chipping and so forth. And that me, I didn't see any fight. That is me. I'm not saying that it was. I didn't see any. Now, there's a video that's circulating on social media about a fight that took place. I'm not sure if you had the opportunity to see it as well. Well, did you have the opportunity to see the fight, I would say, on social media? What are you with us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You asking me if I saw it?
Yes.
Let me put this in a very spiritual way. My vibrations usually don't allow me to connect with those things, and I say that from a honest place. And I feel as you get older, and if you kind of you and I have spoken for a long time. Yes. So unless someone actually sees that video and then takes it and sends it to me, I don't connect with that stuff. So the short answer is no, but I'm always trying to learn and always trying to teach when I can. I just don't connect with that stuff. And I spent hours on social media just answering questions from the carnival page, Facebook and Instagram. And that's what I spent half of the day doing today, because I feel like I have that responsibility for people who I asked to tag us. We wanted to get to 10,000 followers, and that happened. Yeah. But I did not out of all of that. And I know, I'm sure that is the reason. So unless someone sends it to me, I did not. But I think I can feel where you're probably going with where the fight was and who was involved, or what kind of precedent around that fight was. So tell me, did you see it?
No, I saw the video. I mean, I heard about, like I said, I was on the parade route. I was out there. I didn't see anything, but
right.
From since that time to now, I heard conversations about a fight, and then I did ask to send me the video so I can see what everyone's talking about. But needless to say, the reason I brought it up also because I don't want to sit here and pretend that it didn't happen, because it's a conversation that's going around. And I would say this: it's unfortunate that took place, but historically, I always, anybody knows me, I always defend Baltimore Carnival, because in my opinion, honest opinion, it's one of the best carnivals in the U.S. And the reason why I say that,
hands down, no doubt.
Baltimore Carnival, for those of you, and of course the platform has grown very big, so there are people listening from all over the world. Baltimore Carnival has something that most carnivals, especially in the U.S., don't have: an actual parade route with a wide road and a park. That park and that road route and that parade route, there's nothing like it in the U.S. And also to add to that, the protective services is very relaxed.
Yeah, they're pro people.
Yes,
they are pro us.
Yes, they are pro us, and that's something very, very hard to find, especially out here in the U.S. But I just wanted to touch base on that. And my point is, like I said, historically, Baltimore Carnival, I would say, one of the safest carnivals in the world. It's very rare that incidents. So this particular incident that took place wasn't major, in my opinion. For what I've seen, it seemed like one individual, well, there's a couple individuals, but needless to say, it's unfortunate, but I just wanted to kind of touch base on that. Everyone has their opinions on that matter. Yeah. Also, Reba asked, how do we open the culture up to everyone while still keeping the essence of what our culture is and not turn off the trinis? Turn off the Caribbean, Caribbean nationals who may think that Carnival will become too Americanized.
A great question. You have any feedback on that, Anwar, before I say anything?
It's a thin line, right? Because the thin line is, in order to grow, you have to welcome new people in. But I think a part of it is figuring out how to teach them about it, right? How it's on the Baltimore Carnival Instagram page. It's leading up to Carnival is like, these are things you need to know about Carnival, where it starts, where everything about it. And kind of educate people. You have to educate them so when they come, they know not to be disrespectful, to enjoy it. A wine is a wine. Keep it moving. Don't abuse the women, etc. So I think we have to set the rules while we're inviting them in. It's like you have a house, right? And you have a guest. You want to make sure when a guest comes to your house, if your house is a no shoes house, like most Caribbean house, please take your shoes off. There's a pile. So I think you have to give people the rules, while being welcoming. I think that's the number one thing. And I think it comes down to, Mr. Small and his team. I think on the promoter side, we'll do our thing, but I think it comes down to the actual organization to really put forth a social media effort to really educate the audience, if you will.
Absolutely. And that's what I would have said too. It seems like you were going to say something, Chad.
Well, good point. What I was just thinking while Anwar was talking, one of the things I believe, that's from my observation, because I like to pay attention to things. Kind of goes with my job too, but the thing is, I believe we need more volunteers as well, especially when it comes to the parade route. I really believe we need more marshals, and I'm not sure if it's going to come from the Baltimore committee itself or maybe the band leaders. I'm just trying to be up here to talk about that. But I feel like there's more security and more marshalling needs to be done on the road.
Yeah. So those are two great points. And even when Anwar spoke about education, that was my main point. And so I'll answer Reba as best as I could based on that. It is education. It will be education, right? When you have a movie, and we say the movie is general audience, what the producer and the marketing team and everybody does is they give you previews of the movie.
Yeah.
So you get a snippet of what it is, and you get snippets of what it's not. And so just as Anwar said, at certain times during the year, we have to educate the audience. You have to re-educate the ones who already know. We have to remind the ones who know better, and we have to teach the ones who don't. So when you have something like every month, there's a feature on whether it's a website or yourself, and now I see Reba has gone back into her interviews and stuff like that. Reba does a really great job on things that are happening in around Baltimore. What's almost like a what you should know, what you don't know. Hey, did you know this is happening?
Right,
well,
right.
Reba, how about doing a whole series of things you should know about our culture? And because Reba is Reba and she can break those things down in layman terms, that could probably be a platform for her that takes flight, right? And so it comes back to the question, like Anwar said, I want to know what I can do. What can I do in my capacity as one of the top event promoters, what can I do? Because I have this wealth of knowledge, and I want to see how I can integrate it into the carnival, so that when I walk away with compensation from what I do, I feel that I've still given something, right? So I would say to Reba and so many of the other talented people like herself, you know, you don't have to ask a question about what can be done. What I would say is do what you're good at doing.
Back.
Yeah, welcome back, Joan. Do what you're good at doing. Start reading up some things. Like I would say, I would maybe start reading up about the culture of carnival and how it started, and how the American system impacted carnival in North America, right? So now you can hear some of the American kids. They'll understand some of the things you're saying on the American side, but now you're blending it to how the Caribbean has benefited, how the Americans have benefited from the culture, right? So education, and don't start a week before Carnival. Start next month. Start next month and do one a month. You know, Chad, and you always do this. You can have historians come onto your podcast, and then reach out to all of us, like you know, the Carnival Committee, and say, hey, I'm going to start to do a once a month podcast that is going to be talking to some of the historians in New York that know about Carnival, or even people who talk about, you know, you might have a therapist come on, or a psychologist come on and talk about self-respect and respecting women, and decorum, and those kind of things. And then you have that person, but you have someone who's a specialist in Carnival. And now these young people hear the same conversation from two different angles, right? Education, I think, is a big piece. In terms of the marshals, and I'm glad Sean came on, in their application, in the agreement for the bands, they have a stipulation for a number of marshals that they should have in the band. And so the problem is, most of the people that they would probably want to have as marshals, they want to jam and wine. So they want to be in the band. So they may start off as marshals, and then a bumper pass. And then they forget, and they probably take off the fluorescent shirt, and they bear back, and they're not a marshal anymore. Because I saw, Sean, they have ropes. But the rope is as strong as the people who are managing the ropes, right? So I believe that it should, if I pay $1,500 to sign up for Carnival, especially a young woman who paid $1,500 for an outfit, and I'm scantily dressed, but I am proud of myself. I don't want any crazy people touching me and rubbing up on me. So me as the band leader, I believe that every young woman in that band is my child, or is my sister, or is my cousin. So I want to make sure that I have people around them. I'm not waiting on the Carnival Committee to do this. I want to have big, strong men that can rough somebody up if they touch my sister. And I think once the bands start really looking at it from that point of view, like, these people are entrusting themselves to me for an entire day, I want to make them feel safe. I don't think it would ever become a conversation of what the Carnival is doing. We have marshals to move the trucks along. But I don't think we should be responsible to protect the person that made an investment into your band. I think that should be a conversation. And I know Sean. I know Sean from a little kid. I know his dad, and I know he's a young man with very much integrity. I know his partner, Sheila, and I know that they could have those conversations and say to those guys, when we hire you to protect these women and protect these young men, you do not move from this position, or else you don't get paid. And you're going to see a difference. You're going to see a difference. So that's why I think it starts. And then what the Carnival Committee does should be a bonus, right? But we have to protect the investment that they're making into those costumes.
Well said. And once again, guys, like I said, it is open forum. If you want to join the panel, I did provide a link in the comment section, and also it's in the description as well. or you can just put your questions in the comments and I'll read them as we go along. Shout out to Naya. He said facts, Smalley. You're talking facts. Big up to Gani's Duty as well. Let me see what I got here. I got a couple of comments. Mosey Peters, we need more visibility other than once a year. I think that's piggyback to what Smalley was talking about earlier on with doing clips on social media as well. Miss Trini, aka Reba, said, absolutely, I can do that. So she's taking the recommendations. And let me see. Shout out to Mr. David. Mr. David won a performance on Saturday. Did a great job. He said he already started his 2027 promos. And Kizzy said, use social media to show snippets of history and connection to U.S. history. That would be in reference to Carnival as well. Like Caribbean history and the connection of when was the full song. And that's another thing. Baltimore Carnival, 45 years. What have been great was if we had some type of and this is just generally speaking, of course, not pointing any fingers. If we had like a time frame, from when it first started the 2020, but that's not
well. 46 is hopefully coming strong, and I mean I don't see a problem in doing that to 46. Starting a countdown and doing something about the inception to now. A lot of those people are still around. That where started the carnival, and that's something that I know my team and I could undertake in terms of getting that information and education out to the public and going to interview some of those people who started the carnival that are still around.
Yes.
I think that would be a great thing.
Let's got Sean on. Sean, you there? He's unmuted. Sean, you on? Man, so we gotta work on that. Can you hear us clearly? Hey, Sean, you might have to use another phone because we can't hear you at all. Terrible. Yeah, terrible. It would have been great.
And we really want to hear Sean. I'm excited for Sean. Sean, you might have to go and stand outside in the bush. Get out of the basement.
Oh man! All right, so I got
that's my buddy, so I could mess with him.
Yeah, it would be nice to have.
I have a question for Anwar. In terms of, I don't know if you guys had that feel of like the demographics with this event that you had. When you look at your non-Caribbean events that you've had, and then this one, and like people know, join the movement, and they say, like the R&B people who know, and they know when you do something, it's huge. Did you see that mix, or was there an opportunity for you and your team to know that, hey, there were some people from that don't know about soca music, that follow us, that know what we do, or whatever else you might do that's not voice, that came out and supported and maybe had a good time and were happy that they came out? Would there have been an opportunity for you guys to do that, or were you able to do that?
I think for me, I'll know once I pull down all the emails and the phone numbers,
okay,
and throw them in our system, then I'll know what percentage of those people are new to the ecosystem. So, but I saw people in the crowd who are from our events. Yeah. But like I was saying earlier, the thing about Caribbean people, we just assimilate so well. So, we go to R&B parties, we go to hip hop parties, we go to everything. We go to everything just because that's who we are. But then we might be second and third generation. You know what I mean? Our family might be from New York and they grew up around hip hop and R&B, but in the house, their parents are playing dancehall and soca and reggae and everything. So I am curious once I download all the data and put them in our database to see what percentage of those people are new, which percentage were there before. So I'm curious about that. But so everything is data. So you look at your data and you're trying to dive into it and figure out where people are coming from.
Cool. All right, guys. I have a couple of comments coming in fast, so you guys are gonna bear with me. Let me see here. River said, "Yeah, cause it's time to take Charles on the road." All right, I don't understand that. Let's go with Miss Trini. She said the annual Caribbean culture is not just a party. What is the feeling, message, or piece of culture you want people to carry with them after experiencing one of your events?
I think for me, okay. So for me personally, when I go to a soca event and I feel a sense of like, what's the word, lightness, like nothing else in the world matter. And I think we're in such a heavy space right now in time that like we want to be able to give people spaces where they feel that euphoric feeling of, oh, I'm at the happiest space I could be potentially right now. And to me that's important. So for us, it's making sure that when people leave, they feel euphoric, they feel that energy and that love and that connection to whatever it is. And then on the other side, we make sure that we do back to school drives. And like, for me, I'm going to, at the end of this month, I'm going out to, actually, I'm still in my back to school drive portion, but in August, I'm going down to Jamaica with 400 book bags and stuff to give back to school, to do back to school. So I think for me, it's this full circle thing. Yes, we could do this, but also it only makes sense if we could fundraise or whatnot, take funds, buy 400 book bags and books and ship them down and go down to underserved people and give them out. So I think, to me, it's more than just the event, but the event allows us and gives us the revenue to be able to do things like that.
All right, that's great, man. That's great. All right, so I'm going to catch up with some comments as well. I think we also had another band member just came up, band leader rather. I'm add him up right here. We all know him as Mr. Zanduli. Zanda. Mr. Zanda, how are you doing, sir?
Good night, good night, good night.
Good night, good night, good
Morning,
night.
good night, good night, everybody.
Mr. All right. Hold on one second. Let me just catch up with some of these comments, if I may. It says here, invite out-of-state carnival groups, pan, calypso, traditional dances. I guess that's a reference to, building the cultural showcase. Let me see here. I saw some other ones here. That was from Kizzy. To encourage masqueraders to come into the park as well. I guess that's a reference to after the parade, to encourage masqueraders to come into the park as well. About each member actually get a ticket where they get one free meal from a vendor of choice. Well, I don't know how this is gonna work, but that's an ongoing conversation. So we got Mr. Sheldon. Are there any outreach programs that try to include people to the carnival or the culture, or do we just wait for people to bring their work colleagues or friends? I'm not sure if I understand that statement. Are there any outreach programs that try to introduce people to the carnival or carnival or culture, or do we just wait for people to bring their work colleagues? I guess he's probably saying, is it any type of marketing to educate folks about the Caribbean culture or the carnival? I'm guessing that's maybe the where he's trying to go with that question. All right, so I have some other questions, but I'll come back to that. So just join the panel, guys. Mr. Zanda, I want to let you introduce yourself to the panel and to the viewers as well.
Well, good night, everybody. Well, I Zandoli, the man who will bring Zandoli paint and powder in Baltimore Carnival. All right, so We try to put on the best show we could put on. We bring a lot of people. We literally responsible for bringing the most people into into Baltimore City, from New York, from California, from Orlando. That is we specialty. So far, it ain't nobody touching that. We just had them hotel full, right? So I'm gonna try to do our best. So that is all we do, right?
All right. Well, so you just joined in the conversation. I'm not sure if you had a chance to hear some of the early conversations. You being a band leader, I'm going to start with what was the experience for 2026 Carnival compared to other years?
I mean, like I was really happy because most of the band had a lot of people, and that is what we like. The couple of years I do carnival, we always have a huge amount of people on the road, and like most of the band just having a few. Like Sean used to have a quite a lot also too, and most of the band used to have just a few people. So this year it come like it reach with a competition now because everybody having a lot of people in the band,
Mm.
right? So this year, as artists say, was real nice. It had a lot of people because I've been to on YouTube and thing, and I see all the bands looking real good.
Mm.
It ain't no space. So this is good. This year showing that we going somewhere now. We pushing off. Everybody doing the research and getting the people to register in the band and stuff like that. And that is good. This year, I think with for the last, I probably have about 13 years inside. I think this carnival was the best in 13 years. That's what I think.
Mm.
Yeah.
And what do you think was the contribution for that? Like, what were the contributing factors, rather, in your opinion?
I think it's just because of the years.
Mm.
The years, everybody, me, Sean, everybody who involved in carnival, they hang in there, and we know started, get the changes. So I don't think it's nothing more than just time and just being there doing what we do.
Okay, fair enough. I want to
Yeah.
get any. You guys have any questions? Smalley, Anwar.
I just want to know how many people are typically in bands in Baltimore Carnival. Like
In my
like
band,
yeah, a rough number. I don't want
okay,
a
okay, let me give you a rough number. My band don't ever had less than 400 people,
okay, cool.
right? Because if you notice something, like when we come up, we have a lot of people we don't really jump on the road. They like wait for we in the park. So like when we come up, with what just before with what we had a stop in the park, the whole front was people from paint and powder had the tent and stuff like that, and them was sitting there. So it was a nice show. So we literally leave on the road with people moving on the road, and then we had people there waiting with what the carnival was stopping with the tents and everything, and that was beautiful, man. But the thing is, now for years we've been struggling now to keep people together because when people come in town, they have a family will be paying in the next band. So they want to the 3 days they want to meet their family, greet their friends and everything. So they must move around the carnival. So
Yeah,
sometimes some of the bands doesn't really be looking as strong as it really is. You know. So, but long as you put in the work, people will come out and support you. That's the whole thing. All you have to do is treat people right. That's the only thing. Treat them right, treat them with love, and not about the carnival alone. You have to treat them right through with that love. Because Baltimore people, you treat them bad, they ain't supporting you. You could be who you want to be, what big name, they're not supporting you, you treat them bad. And that's what it is. Treat them right and you have them.
Okay, great. Let me see. I have a Sky that's joined in. Sky, you there? Not sure who this Sky is. Yeah, I guess. One going once, going twice. All right, yes, fell asleep or something. All right, move that out. Boom, boom, boom. All right, Smalley, any I think you had a comment?
I just what Xander said about consistency, right? And I think that's probably the word or what he meant is that put in the work, put in the hard work, and just be consistent. And at some point along the way, more and more people are going to notice you, right? Somebody's going to say to somebody, "Man, last year I went with paint and powder and I had a beautiful time." And if it's one person telling one person, it might take longer, right? But it's still forward progression. And you find that after you do it for 5 years, year number 6, your numbers might double, because from year number 5 to number 6, all during that 12-month period, people were just telling other people because you've been around for 5 years already. So I think that's where you see where the bands that are around for a long time, or anything, right? So that you could think of it in anything. The carnivals that are around for a long time are the ones who, when it's tough, they grind and they go through, but they stay consistent, right? This year, you might have 300 people, and next year you might have 100 because something happened, We went through COVID, we had all these different things. People, money were affected, but Xander says he still showed up. So 2 years after COVID now, people now realizing, hey, I remember back before COVID, I was in that band and I want to go back, but I'm taking my friends with me now, because over that time they may have told 6, 7, 100 people that they played in the band. So I think that is the same thing with the carnival too. The thing that I'm proud about now being part of this organization is that 45 years is not a drop in the bucket. And especially 45 years of being in an organization where you were not funded. You had to find the money, right? You had to throw events where people didn't show up. You had to do things and, all these different type of things. But very few people see that side of it. It's just like Anwar as an event promoter, right? He will throw that event, and somebody will be there up in the rafters saying, "Oh my God, this man gonna be a millionaire after Voice." But he's down there in the back room saying, "Man, I just put out almost as much money as I made on this event." But you might still come out in the green. But you definitely may not have made $1 million. But we don't see that.
Right? People have no idea.
Yeah. When you're in it, like what Xander is doing, and he knows that, look, the only difference I could make is to be able to treat people right, because somebody else have another paint and powder band, somebody else have another this, somebody else have good food. The difference is your consistency, your hard work, and how you treat people. And so that's the difference I feel like I want to bring to the organization, is that yesterday, like I said, today, I know I spent at least 3 hours on the phone, on the carnival pages, just answering people. Just someone tag the carnival. I want to be able to approve the tag. I want to be able to send them a message and say that's a beautiful costume. Thank you for participating. Well, those are the things they're going to remember. Yeah. You can't just build something and because it's built, you think everybody's going to come. They say build it and they will come, but you got to keep treating them right or they won't stay, right? Coming is one, staying is another, right? And so that's why I think we all have in common when we have things that last after a while. And I believe that even with the education of the young people, you want them to not just come to this carnival and then somebody treat them bad and they don't show up next year. You want to hold on to them, educate them, show them that, hey, you could do this maybe if you want in an American party, but when you come in a Caribbean party and you come in the park, somebody might hit your head slap, right? And you're going to say yes, sir, and no, ma'am, but you have to respect our thing because you have to come in your house without your shoes on, like Anwar said before, right? So I believe that as we continue to support each other, band leaders, promoters, the organization, the bottom line is that if there's no carnival, there may be events, there won't be bands, but we all have to have that synergy where we treat each other good, we respect each other, we work hard, and we stay consistent.
One thing I want to touch base on, and I want to bring it. I'm going to go back and forward a little bit. So before I forget, I want to talk about the Kiddies Carnival. I definitely don't want to forget that. But Xander, I want you to give people opportunity, because I think a lot of people don't realize the expenses that it takes to put a truck on the road, from the truck itself, the generators. I mean, even talking about, in your case, paint and stuff like that. What is the actual cost? But what is the general cost for a truck and generator?
Well, with my truck, there'll be $10,000 on the road, just the truck alone. I 10,000 right there. I bring my guys from New York, because you know what? The reason why I bring my guys from New York, because these guys, when they reach down, they put everything together. My guys will work with me. They don't have to touch nothing. All I do is hand them my banner, and I get in a truck. So I pay for that.
So they're building everything one time.
They build everything. Now, if I for years I do like hire people to work, they charge me less, but I had to tote the box on the truck. I had to get guys, I had to build up thing. They have me running by Home Depot in the morning. It's just crazy. After the carnival, I actually used to be knocked out like the same day. So this time now, I could meet people, I could greet them. I don't have to worry about no truck, no work, or no truck, nothing.
Okay.
Right? Sense. Yeah. So, but the carnival around me somewhere close to $30,000. Right? So that is where I'm looking at. That my cost for the carnival. Somebody else. Like it had guys who had their own sound system, it had guys who had their own truck. So like if them have a big band, them going to be making a killing, because them don't have to come out with that expense. Right? Then it have guys we're working with, because I used to work with guys around, but then our truck shutting down on the road, generator shutting down on the road, and people don't pay their money. It don't matter if it's $100 they pay to come on the road. They want the best for their money. And I like giving the people the best of their money. I give them unlimited drinks. I give them the best of their money. Right? Because this morning I went on the truck, and my containers still had juices, and I do a live look. The people and them who was handling the truck, I was like, the drinks. I was like, the drinks is the shit of the people. It have no way I have quarter bucket bill. I drink still where I was doing,
Yeah.
So that you think, but everybody was, comfortable and stuff like that. But carnival, people don't know where we're going to. You have to love it to do it. Straight up.
Yeah.
As some people say, you have to love the culture in order to do it. Because that many times I make the money where I put out there. And the next year I'm going in to do the same thing again. But hear what? Wifey ain't complaining. So nobody ain't complaining,
Yeah.
So long as nobody ain't complaining, hey, I doing it, I love it. And let me tell you, let me make you know this. The two guys who get me in the carnival, I just had the idea. A lot of you all know Daryl Reed. When I get the idea, I go to Daryl Reed and I say, Daryl Reed, look, I want to do carnival in Baltimore. He said, what do you want to do? I said, me, I know. He's deceased now, right?
Yes.
He said that's a good idea. So that was my first start. The first man would tell me that's a good idea. And then I had a party on half of the road where Naya was at the party. So we start talking there, and Naya said, hey, you know what? I have a partner named Mikey.
Yeah.
I said, well, what I could do? He said, but what do you think about Camo? I said, Camo song ain't good enough. I said, all right, I'm going to try it. So seeing that Naya at that point at time I find he was just genuine. So I said, you know what? I'm going to make you a partner. Me and you will do it now. And he bring Mikey. So we do Camo and Red Jab Jab. I think we come on the road either 2 or 3 years. The first year, Mikey gone doing his thing. And the second year, me and I, so we just do Camo. And then the third year now I say, you know what? This man in our Baltimore, man, right? I want to do it alone. Let me pull some Baltimore friends and do camo. So you tell the boss lady, hey, I don't know where Xander coming with tonight, but I coming with camo. So I had this girl in New York named she named she used to used to be with Richard too, Simone. So I asked Simone, I said, Simone, what could come with? She said paint and powder. I said paint and powder. People will love them, think they know about them kind of excitement up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, what she tell me? She says, Anna, I want to bring down a boss. I said, well, the people gonna like it. Because I don't know already. We talking about over 50 people.
Yes.
So that's a good start. And there's where I start off Zandoli, paint and powder from Simone. So you see, the two guys will bring me into this thing, despite of whatever they might be saying or whatever. The two guys was Mikey and Naya. And Simon is the person who steer me to Zandoli paint and powder. And I love it. Every year we grow. Every year we grow. Right? So that was the thing there, you know. Hey. But I hanging in there. As long as I had that check, money is nothing.
All right, real quickly, time check 9:32. We've actually been on for an hour and a half. I believe it'll go till 10. We're rounding up to 2 hours. So this, I would say, the final 30 minutes. So if you have any questions, make sure and type it in the comments. Or like I said, you're more than welcome to join in as well. Let me see real quickly. Catch up on some of the comments here. I did see something for Anwar. Okay, this is a familiar name from Miss Yvette Lawrence Hood, a very popular name in the DMV. Congrats on the voice fest. It was so good, and she elaborated. The DJs were excellent. Voice was great. Location worked for me. So that's for you, Anwar. A satisfied customer.
That's good.
Ms. Trini says, Smorty, what are some ways the city is helping the carnival or adding to the carnival? I mean, we can see certain things, but there may be others that we don't know about. So she's asking, what are the things that the city is really doing?
That's a good question. You know, I would say, I think one of the blessings that we have with the partnership that we have with the city and the individuals that are part of that partnership is that we more or less have the ability to steer the ship, right? They put the gas, they put on the tires, or they have the propeller, and we get to steer the ship. So in short, they are willing to invest and to support our vision as it pertains to what the feel is like and what the look is like. So you know, I think that in some cases you will have certain entities come in the city, for example, and they'll say, you know what, we do this festival. So let's use Afram as an example. They'll say we do Afram, and Afram looks this way, and we made a lot of money this way, and there's so many people come out, and now we would like your carnival to look like Afram, right? We don't have that. We don't have that with the city. But what I must say is that because the relationship is so new, Reba, there still is the opportunity for us to capitalize on some of the things that you heard me talk about earlier, in terms of tapping into Calypso, in terms of tapping into Pan. You know, last year before, I started something around a week of carnival, of carnival experience from the Monday up until the Thursday, because I know the bigger promoters have things going on Friday, and you know, I don't want to clash with anybody with anything like that. But I see, hopefully next year, the carnival would be a part of that in terms of sponsorship. So I could go to them and say, look, we want to have a Calypso competition on the Monday night.
Okay.
Or we want to have a King and Queen of the band have their competition on a Wednesday, so that when they come on the road, they will have this big crowd around them. We want to have a night for that. And the city should be able to see that vision. So the question is not really what are they coming in to do for us outside of the funding. To be real with you, we want the money. And if we get the money, I think that feedback from people like yourself and that having that collaboration with the Anwars who have traveled different countries and different islands and seen different things could say, hey, have you guys thought about doing such and such? We would love to get behind you with that, or support with that. And then we can go to the city and say, look, we have this major promoter that is doing X% helping us. We would love for you to support us, right? So the vision, I think, at this point is still ours. And when I say ours, I don't just mean the Carnival Committee. I mean the band leaders who have ideas outside of just them making money on the road on Saturday. They could say, look, how about we help you with such and such on a Monday night so that we could have a bigger crew from New York come down and fill up the hotels from Monday through to Thursday or through to Sunday or from Wednesday through Sunday. You know, because I don't think it should stop where the band leaders make money and they go on. The promoters make money and they go on. And the the Carnival Committee is there pulling straws afterwards, right? The more collaboration, the more inclusion. I think the city now says, you know what? If we were planning on fighting these people to tell them what to do, they have too many people. You know, because if you have joined the movement, and the city is aware of who joined the movement, is saying, look, I'm backing the Carnival Committee for a week of activities, and you have a big band like Xander with 400 people saying, look, I'm backing the Carnival Committee to have things on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, even though I may not make money from it. And this is what we want. And we collectively send a letter to the city saying, this is what we're doing as a collective unit. We will always have autonomy, right? Because it's the whole divide and conquer thing. We live in it right now in this country with divide and conquer, right? With politics. I think, Reba, we still have the opportunity to tell the city what we want it to keep looking like, what we want it to continue to look like, what we want to grow to, and they are open to supporting it financially. I hope that answers your question.
So it dispels the notion that, you know, the talk, you know, Trini's talk, the city take over the Carnival.
Yeah.
That's not the case.
You know, I remember when we had the first conversation, the director for Park and Recs, she looked at me and she said, I don't want another festival on my hand. You know, we know about Afram, we know about Artscape. There's the book festival. She has like 7 or 8 festivals. It may not be for people of our hue, but she has a ton load of stuff. And she's a young woman who still wants to live life and she wants to travel. She wasn't even here for this carnival because she went to St. Lucia telling her business. But you know, she doesn't want to take over, right? And definitely our mayor doesn't want to have anything to do with it. You know, Dr. Simon says to him, I know you from since you were a little boy. I saw you sitting on your front stoop watching Carnival. There's no way you shutting down Carnival in Baltimore City. And that's why I think people underrate Dr. Simon's reach and her significance to the city, because she has those type of conversations with our mayor. Brandon's not going to come and say, I want to take over Carnival. He's going to delegate a team, and that team is also delegated to a bunch of other things. And the last thing they want to do is try to learn about somebody's culture at the age they are at, and then try to replicate something that the people that were already there could do, right? So there's no takeover. There is preservation. It's funny how, because we're human, we always err to negativity, and we always err to scare, you know. But nobody says, I wonder if the carnival is helping. I wonder if the city is helping the carnival to have more reach. I wonder if the city is probably helping the carnival to bear some of the brunt of the financial difficulties they had before. You know, nobody ever asked me that. Everybody says, is the city taking over the carnival? You know, like we always go to that side. take it over and do what? What are they going to do with it?
Yeah.
You know, most people in the city are not from the Caribbean.
Yes.
How could you bring a true experience to a people who you're not of?
Yeah.
Right away. So I don't see it happening. I see, yes, there are going to be certain things where they say, look, we are good at this. Like they said, look, we don't want you to deal with cleaning up the park. We don't want you to hire anybody to clean up the park. We don't want you to go and rent generators yourself. We already have people doing that. So if you had a cousin that was, they was giving money to get the generator, unfortunately, you can't give your cousin money anymore.
Yeah.
If you had an uncle who used to come and bring the boots and do this thing, you're going to have to fire your uncle. To me, that makes sense. Why would we want to take money from the city and then pay somebody to duplicate an effort that the city is already doing? So I think that's where the takeover conversation is popping up, because the city is just doing things that they do for everyone else, right? We are no different. If they provide these services for AFRAM, they want to continue providing it for the Caribbean Carnival. And to me, it makes sense, right? It's less stress. Like Xander said, I ain't going in Home Depot and get no pieces of wood. Like I am not going into the park and clean up the park. And the city, I looked at those guys last night. They are, they're moving like robots. And they had that park clean in record time, because that's what they do.
That's what they do.
Right? They come in, they clean up, and the city pays them. So that I think is more, and now it gives us the opportunity, like Xander said, to shake a hand. When I started with the Carnival Committee officially, because I've been with them a long time, in no capacity, no money, none of those things, I didn't care, because I am of the culture. Yes. But when I started with them officially last year, our social media following, Instagram, for example, was about 3,000, just under 3,000 followers. I stood on the stage on Saturday, and we were at 7,000 followers, and I said we need 10,000 followers. And this morning I woke up and there were 10,000 followers. So a year ago we were at less than 3,000, right? But if I had to rake the park, if I had to bring the generator, do all those things that the city's coming in and say we could do that for you, we wouldn't have been there. So I think it's all about finding the things that you're not good at, and then being able to relinquish it so that you could do what you're good at. And I think that's what Brandon's message has been. I think that's what his department has been. But, we always get, every now and again, they're going to be like, your people got to be a little better. And that happens. And then we need to adjust to make sure that we do what is necessary. But I welcome it. And I think it's a good partnership so far, and we hope that it continues to get better.
Well said. Time check 9:40. I feel like I'm on radio, but time check 9:44. I want to at least wrap up by 10. To respect everyone's time. My good friend Mr. Mosley just joined in, but before I jump into Mosley, I want to talk about Baltimore Kiddies Carnival. We didn't get a chance to talk about that. This Pat, of course, is not here tonight, but I know you are involved in that organization as well. I'm not sure if you put it this way, you were involved this year. I'll put it that way. So if you could just kind of elaborate about the Baltimore Kiddies Carnival and how can that be tied into the general carnival altogether. But it seemed like the Kiddies Carnival, but for some reason, it seemed like it's a separate non-profit organization. But
it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be in terms of the feel. And again, that was another organization I joined, right? So now in the final third of my life, right? It's like, remember a long time we used to say when you're 50, they say, like you're 50, you're halfway in your life, and that is absolutely not true. If you're 70, right? So when you're 50, you're closer to your grave than you are not. And so where I am now is like this portion of my life is really about getting in to see how I can impact people with my culture, where, I don't want a person to say that I was a DJ in Baltimore for 30 years and I didn't even do anything for this organization or that organization, right? So not only did I start with the Kiddies Carnival, I always used to buy, get trophies for them, donate trophies every year. But this year I decided to get involved. And the first thing I said to them is, the Kiddies Carnival cannot be in June. And Carnival is in July.
Yeah.
Like Kiddies Carnival should be no less than a week apart from, and so I could personally take recognition for this. I don't try to do it too often, but I told them Carnival, Kiddies Carnival should be the week before Carnival.
Yeah.
At least the week before Carnival. And what that allowed to happen is that parents who were excited about coming to Carnival were more excited to get their kids to have their time. So Xander had, his people, some of his people brought out some kids. And I know Xander, I know this man enough, right? We're not best friends, but I know him enough to know that even though he's not involved in Kiddies Carnival next year, he's going to make sure that anything that says Xander, that says paint and powder on it and is attached to his brand, they're going to have more kids, right? So I'm looking forward to however he can do that, right? Blue Tantrum, they had a bunch of kids out there because the parents felt bad that they would be on the road this past weekend and the kids didn't have an opportunity to be out the weekend before. And I can tell you a year ago, Kiddies, that organization was planning on canceling Kiddies Carnival. And I was one of the people that got involved, and not just me, but several of us got involved and said that cannot happen.
Yeah. And
so we went into schools, we went back to parents, we donated our time and our money, and I can confidently say that Kiddies Carnival this year, it was like night and day to last year. I haven't seen kids have so much fun in a long time, but it needs sponsorship. You need somebody to come in and say, hey, we're going to help with this. Because I can tell you, it's the members who are buying food and buying this and parents who are, chipping in. Yeah. But the goal was for the kids to have fun. And man, those kids, I saw these little kids put down some whining and some jumping and some waving and I was the MC, so it was fun just to be able to encourage them. And even the parents were running around with the kids and, like when you're on the road and giving them that feel, it was very heartwarming to see that. So I feel like I could confidently say it's on the way back. And I feel we need to keep it close to the carnival, because when you go to New York, Kiddies Carnival is the same weekend, right? Kiddies Carnival is a Saturday in New York, and then Monday is Labor Day. So if we could even get to that point where Kiddies Carnival is but I like the weekend before, because it's not set up like Labor Day where you have the weekend rolling into the Labor Day. But I'm excited. I'm excited for them. I'm excited to see the kids and even some of those young people that are jumping in the park and just don't know what is happening. We could even get some of them involved in the Kiddies Carnival, because some of them are on that younger side too.
Yeah. They mentioned the Kiddies Carnival, and one thing came to mind also that I noticed this year. I'm not sure if it was there last year, but this year in the park for Baltimore Carnival, they had a kids section with the bunksies and stuff.
Yeah, we had that. We started that last year.
Okay.
Yeah, the kids zone.
Kids zone, yes.
Yeah. That was
all right. All right, Mr. Mosey, welcome, sir. Good night.
Good night, everybody. Good night, Mr. Smalley, Mr. Zander, Mr. Anwar. Good night to all you guys. So I've been listening. I've been quietly listening, and I just have a couple things to address, couple things to say. First of all, I want to say this is the first carnival I've missed because I'm not in the area, right? I'm out of town, and I was really upset. I kind of shed a little tear. Secondly, I want to say, Mr. Smalley, you are one of the most visible people on the committee, and I want to thank you for your hard work, because you've been promoting this carnival since, I can't say when. Every time you see you have a flyer, every time you see you have a t-shirt, you're always saying something. Mr. Zander, your band getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and you continue hitting it every year. I want to say thank you for that. Mr. Anwar, I don't know you. This is the first time I meet you, first time I seen your face, but I heard your voice was Your voice party was crazy. All right. With all that being said, let's get down to the integrity. The carnival, despite the fights and everything that they post online, which I find they shouldn't be doing that, but despite that, carnival was amazing that I heard. But we need to be more visible. When I say visible, I mean we should have this carnival pumping from January 1st on all until, because people should know, hey, Baltimore Carnival coming back. We need visibility, right? Not only Mr. Smalley out there, everybody on the committee should be out there. We should be in schools. We should be doing all type of other stuff. Not only carnival, we should have a Calypso Monarch, because people like Scorpy and everybody should. I might sing a song I want to come and sing. We should have a Baltimore King competition with singing, right? We should also have a little steel band. You know, I'm just saying, I know everything takes work, takes money, and we building, right? So every day we could build and get better, right? That is one. Pertaining to the bands are them doing amazingly. They're doing what they had to do. And I heard somebody say about the marshals, Mr. Smalley say, we need a little more than marshals. We need to be our brother's keeper, right? We need to be our brother's keeper. We need to protect our women, our kids, and we need to keep the one carnival that we have, continue to keep it the safest carnival in America, right? That is that. So now, on a business aspect, I know it costs money to keep a carnival. I know it costs money to promote the bands and stuff. I know sometimes you have a band and you're probably, Mr. Zander, you could attest to this. You probably might even make your money back, but you're still doing it for the love of the culture. And I appreciate that. And I want to say thank you. Sometimes people might not give you flowers, but I want to say thank you. Right? That's it. It doesn't get the people don't see the work behind what you produce on the road this Saturday. They don't see it. They don't see the sleepless nights. They don't see the whatever sacrifice you make. I want to say thank you. Same thing to Mr. Smalley. I want to say thank you, because they don't see the effort. Mr. Anwar, I know it probably take whatever you and your team to produce that concert. Thank you. Right? But let me keep it going. Let me do this carnival done, and that's it. You know, let me try to keep the thing going. Me and Alonzo have conversations about having a museum, like a museum for the culture. Like people could come and see Super Blue. Just have a raga Super Blue or something from Marshall, and we could talk about it. We could have a conversation with conversational pieces. We need some from Lord Kitchener, Sparrows. You know, we need to educate, so people that's not saying, it's just nakedness and jump and wine. If you go back and you really understand carnival, Peter Minshall opened the Olympics in Barcelona with Tantan and Saga Boy. A lot of people don't even know that. That's how deep-rooted carnival is in our culture. A lot of people don't know these things. And carnival is not just jumping. What carnival is extempo, stick fighting. It's about just culture, just we loving our culture. We need to not end, but we need to pick it up and keep running with it, let it understand. My biggest thing is our carnival should be so big that BRT don't even have space to have BRT weekend. That's why I see Baltimore Carnival go. We Carnival should get to the point where people scared to have an event because they know when Zander and the truck come, nobody going to be to BRT weekend. When Anwar and the crew come to keep the party, nobody worrying about BRT weekend. Right? Now, as I heard this thing, the mayor taking over. If the mayor taking over, it come a partnership, that's fine. It will enhance the carnival where we could have better artists. I don't want to see, no disrespect to no artists, but I don't want to see the same artists I've seen all year in parties on carnival weekend. I don't. I really don't. I'm being honest to you. I don't want to see them. I see them all year. I don't want to see them in the park. Right? I really don't. That for me is a turn off. It's like I see them all year. Okay, instead of having Anika Berry, let me try to get a rupee. Let me try to put together a Super Blue. It's 45 years. We should have do something monumental. 45 years. Right? We should have a statement piece in the park. Right? Yeah. We should have whoever was the first artist should have been performing there on the 45th year, because we're going from strength to strength. That's just my opinion. No disrespect to no artists, no disrespect to nobody, but I'm just saying, if I see you in a Dane Miguel party in January, February, March, why am I having to see you again on Carnival weekend? Right? No, I'm not saying we could have a superstar artist and have many little artists that we could see that we don't see. If you understand what I'm saying, we are diaspora people. We can get an artist from Grenada, Dominican Republic. You know, that's just my opinion, right? I just talking from my opinion. I could be wrong, I could be right, right? Also, pertaining to on my side, you know, my wife and I have a hydration business, and we are trying to, Mr. Smalley, we was in talks with Mr. Smalley, and I want to get to reach out to people like you, Mr. Zander. I've been trying to reach to you so long to show you what we do. In case you know, while the people partying and people getting drunk, we have hangover patches, we have hydration, and that to help and enhance the carnival to make it safer. So we want to sit and talk to band leaders and show them what we do, what we do and what we could do to enhance the carnival and make it safer. So when you drink and you drunk, you slap a patch on you, 10, 15 minutes, you're okay. You're okay to go again. You're okay to thing, and that'll cut out the fights and the drunk driving home. But that's on that's on the business aspect. But I'll just come to say thank you guys. Continue the hard work. Mr. Smalley, thank you. I know it's not you alone, but thank you, Mr. Anwar. Thank you. Mr. Zander. Mr. Zander, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. But that's just my input. I don't know if you all want to have any feedback on what I say. If I say anything wrong, if I mash any toes, let me know. But that's just my input as somebody who just love the culture.
Yeah, you did mash some toes when you said Anita Berry. I mean, you know.
I didn't need to personally say that. I didn't need to personally say that,
but
well, link up at small.
That the man say that 12 glass of Moby the other day, boy.
Link up with Smalley and thing, and you know you can have a meeting with every evening I'll be on half of the road. So anytime just link up with Smalley, link up with everybody, check me on half of the road. When I finish work, I'll go straight by the building before I come home.
Yes, because I really don't think the carnival need to stop. We need to have, in order, like I know the boat ride. I don't know whatever happened to the boat ride situation, but we need to have carnival.
Yeah, but boat ride doing a boat ride right now too, also.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
we'll talk. Good ideas. That's the feedback. I think you definitely were in line with. I think all of us said some of the same things, and it's good to see that you were in line with that also. So appreciate that. And you have my number. And I don't know if you have Xander's. And you know, right. So
no, I don't. But I would like Xander. You could yeah, please let's do, because we have a lot of things that we could. Even Mr. Anwar, even you. I know you keep events. We do hydration, we do hangover, we do stuff that we could help our drivers go home safe. We could do stuff that could help our masqueraders. We do everything. So let's come together. Let's really get this thing the way it needs to be. For me, the biggest thing, I just don't think that when you hear carnival, nobody should have no event. BRT should be like, yo, I'm afraid to even put this flyer out because Baltimore will kick me ass. You understand what I'm saying? That is the level.
He's coming.
I wanna. So yeah, we get your points.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate the time.
Jason, good night. Pick another one. Jason, good night. Another one who got to get flowers.
Yeah, just joined in on the panel is Mr. Jason AlonzoBash of BK Entertainment, one of the premier promoters in the DMV. So I definitely want to hear his take on his 2026 Carnival experience. Mr. Jason, welcome.
Good evening, everybody. I was just got the link and was tuning in. I missed, I guess, some of the heated conversations, but I think starting from Baltimore Carnival, go back. This was actually my first time being in Baltimore for Carnival for probably over 10 years. Never been there all this time.
A shame.
And it was it was a good experience for me. I came out Friday night to a big bad soca party, which was great. Congrats to Movement. Awesome event. Saturday on the road. Got there a little bit late, but definitely a good. I didn't go into the park though, but good experience on the road. Good to see all the folks spectating and the vendors, and really made me feel a little bit like home. Saturday night was an event I was participating in. Very good turnout. That was Tingle, and that was it for me for the weekend. But for just being in Baltimore, I haven't been in Baltimore, like I said, for over 10 years for any kind of carnival celebration. And it was good for me. I think there's a lot of room for improvement, a lot of room for growth, a lot of room for local talent, both, in Baltimore, in DC, and environs, to be able to participate. It now the parade being in Baltimore for a certain number of years and it exiting the DMV. I think to me the DMV is ripe for it to come back or something to still happen, even with Baltimore growing and where it is. I think we still need something in the DMV, in the district, carnival wise. I'm here to listen, to help, to support. So let's continue the conversation.
Yeah, but thanks for joining in, Jason. For you guys who may not be familiar with Beak Entertainment, you guys pretty much created a brand after the DC Carnival stopped or canceled, whatever the word you want to use. After the ending of DC Carnival, you guys created a brand with like and some sort of a continuation where you have DC Carnival weekend.
That's called DC Carnival Experience. The goal was to reproduce what we experienced in the Caribbean, and it is still a series of events that simulates different experiences. So a fete, a boat ride, a show. We try to mix it up every year with a different experience or bring back certain experiences. So this year the theme was basically off a World Cup. It was called Soca Cup. The idea was the DJs were the players or the soccer players, the venues were the stadiums, and the spectators were the people that was partying. So the idea was bringing everybody together to party at different spaces. We had 2 boat rides, we had 2 after parties, we had Lime on Saturday, which was great. Only thing was I couldn't control the heat.
Yeah, I hear what I heat.
It was hot. It was real hot all over, but all events, sold out. Everything was great. Couldn't ask for a better weekend.
Nice. So I think I'm hearing a Baltimore Carnival weekend experience coming up sometime in the near future.
Well, sure, why not? I mean, I think with everybody that's here on a panel here, I think that could happen. But it can't just be on one person, really, to be honest. It should be everybody collaborating, everybody coming together,
I'm glad you mentioned that because earlier in the conversation, that's a discussion Smalley had brought up, with the Carnival committee pretty much collaborating with promoters here, both in Baltimore and the whole DMV area itself. So I'm glad that you sound like you're willing to participate in that.
Yeah, I mean, it's the carnival is just one time a year. You get one chance.
One shot
to do it right for thousands or hundreds of thousands of people, and for people like myself, and I know Anwar could speak to this, we do events year round.
Yeah.
In the heat, in the cold, in the rain, in the snow, and you face certain challenges and elements that you learn from.
Yeah.
So bringing that experience and bringing those expertise to the table, I think would be a benefit to the carnival committee and the bands and so forth, and sharing in that, because honestly, there's so much people here that it shouldn't be a competition. Nobody's going to lose.
Yeah.
If we all partner or participate together, there's no way we're going to lose.
Yes.
No way we're going to lose. I mean, for those who know, when we go to other islands for Carnival, you go to Trinidad or Jamaica or, St. Lucia, Grenada, no one loses.
Yeah.
No one loses at all. It's camaraderie, it's enjoyment, it's celebration. So if it is that we do that here, I don't think that no one is going to lose, because especially here, all the spaces that we use to do events and stuff like that, other than the parade, are finite. You could only put but so much people in a space.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about hundreds of thousands of people, sometimes there may not always be enough events for them to go to, or they may not know.
Yeah.
So, the more things that's there, or the more collaboration that there is, and we're getting all the events out, the bands, all the band launches and stuff like that. I think that's one of the things that need to happen, especially with the bands and the band launches, that they need a lot of the help. They need support to get the folks into the bands and on the road to show the costumes, and not just jumping up behind the truck kind of thing. It's really about the culture, showcasing the mass and the different talents of the folks that spend hours doing the mask making and stuff like that. I've done that both here and in Trinidad as well. So I know what it takes to be able to do that.
Yeah, a lot of work, man. A lot of work. But I definitely appreciate you taking time out and adding, the contribution to the panel. At this point, man, it's 10:08 p.m. Eastern. I just want to, any final statements from anyone on the panel? Of course, there's some questions, not really questions, there's some comments in the comment section. I guess those could be answered, afterwards or tomorrow, whenever. But any last statements from you guys? Mr. Anwar, Smalley, Jason, Zandali?
I think for me, like I said, I'm here to add value, and that's just my main thing. Anywhere I go, how can I add value to it? I see the partnership with the Baltimore City, the government working, and after all, they want to fill hotel rooms, and this is a way for them to fill hotel rooms. And if you can fill hotel rooms, you can continue to get their support. And the only way to get more hotel rooms is to make this thing a staple on the East Coast, that you have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people are coming in town for this weekend. And that's if we all work together, to make sure we amplify this as much as possible. I think to the CIAA moved to Baltimore and how their format is, and every event that happens isn't officially a part of the CIAA roster, and there's a way for you to get a official CIAA stamp on your flyer, and that's something that the community should look into. Is what is it that when a promoter wants to do something and put Baltimore Carnival on there, but it should be an official stamp that you get, that you put on your flyer, say, hey, this is an official event. And then that way we could all be a part of one ecosystem. So I think you take those things and you kind of go for it. But like I said, I'm here to help, wealth of knowledge. And Mrs. Smalls, I want to be able to make sure that we can exchange information. Zando, likewise, I want to be able to exchange information. Jason, we're going to have a conversation tomorrow. Alonzo, I know we'll continue to talk for sure.
Good, thanks, man. I appreciate the time. Much appreciation, man. All right, Mr. Sandali, you up next, sir.
Hey, partner. I'm sleepy now. Nice meeting you all. And I really would like to have a meeting with you all one day. But yes, I'm still tired because I don't know. I got old man like Smalley, right? So I out, and I'll have a good day. Enjoy yourself. Well, a good night now. And I out.
All right, brother.
Yeah, my brother.
All right, good night. But Jay, I'm gonna give you an opportunity to make any final statements before we let the director close it off.
I came in late, but echoing what Anwar said, I'm I'm here to help, or here to contribute. Our wealth of knowledge. I've been doing events in DMV officially this year, 20 years professionally. So, I'm here to continue, carrying the flame, as you say, and paving the way for the youngsters,
Yes. All right, Mr. Small, sir.
I think this is, just an opportunity to thank you. Sometimes we have these platforms, and again, you have shown the thing that we talked about early, which is hard work and consistency, right? We have a long-standing relationship, and I remember when you started doing these type of things, and here you are now, creating spaces for us to be heard. I think for me, the most value tonight was having some people understand what happens in the background of putting together a carnival, working towards getting it into the minds and hearts of everyone, right? That has been in the 2 years that I've been involved. That has been my focus, and having this platform and to be able to share this information and know that somebody could go back and look at it after tonight and hear some of the things that we talked about. It's important. So I want to definitely give you kudos for having platforms like these to be able to give. I know for me, as part of the carnival, to be able to speak to those people who have questions and comments that sometimes have gone unanswered or unheard. So thank you for that.
Of course, man. Well, I definitely want to extend many thanks to you guys for taking time out your busy schedule and really, and also your contribution to the art and culture for all these years. I mean, and well, we knew to each other, I would say, but Jason and Xander and especially Small, I've known you guys for a long time. And I always tell people I'm just a little piece of the big puzzle. We all have a part to play. I'm just playing my part, So that being said, man, I guess we might have to do a part two because there's so much, there's so much. This has to be an ongoing conversation. And
let me know.
That thanks again, and for everyone that tuned in, the viewers and the comments, thanks for the contribution. Of course, you guys could always go back and review the conversation, listen to the full interview. It will be available on the AlonzoBash podcast. Shameless plug, I would say, even though it's my platform. YouTube, Spotify, all streaming platforms. The whole interview will be on there. So once again, guys, like I said, we all have a role to play, and I definitely want to extend. Really want to thank also Baltimore City officers. I don't know if I had time to say this on Saturday, but I definitely want to thank everyone from Baltimore City government for their contribution, all their hard work this weekend. From my opinion, my experience, it definitely was a great experience. And the crazy thing is, Facebook gives you these updates on like 5 years ago. It gave me an update. The first time I hosted the Baltimore Carnival on stage was 10 years ago.
Wow.
I was shocked. Yeah, it was 10 years. I have to big up Mr. Sargent, man. Sargent is the one. And Smalley, Sargent is the one that I pretty much just asked, like, hey, at that time I was DJing, and I said, hey, I would like to have the opportunity to host, one of these days, maybe not the whole thing, but maybe part of it. And he's like, sure. And the rest is history. So I definitely grateful for that opportunity. It definitely was a ride, a learning curve in so many different ways. And anyway, that being said, definitely want to thank so many people that have made the carnival a success. And moving forward, I definitely want to have a conversation with a lot of the band leaders. Maybe look forward to a part two. So with that, guys, yes. With is something? Somebody was about to say something?
Oh no, just saying thank you. Have a good night.
Yes. With that, guys, much love, much appreciation.
All right.
And this concludes the AlonzoBash podcast, Baltimore Recap 2026. Good night.
All right, guys.
All right, guys.